Today I am filling my fridge with all sorts of delicious foods to have for dinners and lunches all week long. This is going to be an awesome meal prep video. I am going to be making some Chipotle bowls with some delicious corn salsa. I'm making an instant pot chicken pozole, some salsa verde chicken. So I think so often people don't necessarily think of freezer cooking as meal prepping, but I'm going to show you today how all of that is possible. Okay, so we are meal prepping some instant pot chicken pozole. If you guys have never had pozole before, it is basically a soup that is traditionally made with dried chilies and pork and hominy, and it kind of takes a long time. However, when we make this freezer meal in the Instant Pot, it makes it super easy because it's basically a shortcut. So what I did was I thawed out my freezer bag from the freezer meal that I made. So this has in it some chicken thighs, onion, 2 cans of hominy, garlic, chipotle peppers and adobo, some spices, and then we're gonna add 5 cups of chicken broth to this. All right, so let's go ahead and add our chicken broth. Now, if you guys have watched my videos before, you know that I love using the Knorr instant chicken bouillon. Let me show you the jar. I buy this stuff in bulk because it's honestly the best thing that I have ever found to keep on hand for chicken broth. And I like it because it doesn't take up a bunch of room in my pantry like big, cans or boxes of broth. So it works really well for me. Okay, so basically now we're gonna put the lid on this and then we're going to cook this on high pressure for 18 minutes. And then we let it do a natural pressure release for 10 minutes. And then also we want to make sure we season it to taste after it's done cooking. Okay, so I've got it on manual high pressure and I'm just going to turn it up to 18. And then this particular one, you don't even have to press start. It'll just start on its own. And make sure that your vent is set to sealing up here so it can come to pressure. Okay, so I just took the lid off of my pozole. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna remove the chicken to a bowl and let it cool a little bit so I can shred it. Okay, so these are the larger pieces of chicken I was able to take out. A lot of it just shredded up in the soup on its own. So you can see how easily this shreds. I'm just gonna kind of mash it up with a fork and put this back in the soup and mix it together. Okay, so we're gonna add the juice of 1 lime to our pozole. Okay, so what I like to do like with soup is I'll take a little bit out and put it in a bowl just so I can taste it for seasoning. All right, so here is our Instant Pot pozole that I prepped. We do need to prep the toppings, so we'll do that next, but this gave us enough for, this is 12 cups of soup. I like putting them in the different sizes because like these are super easy to heat up just for 1 serving. And then these are obviously larger if you want to, pour them into a pot, heat them up that way. Or also I freeze soups a lot in this size as well. So I'm going to go ahead and prep the toppings for the pozole. So I really like using this OXO, I think it's called a grate and slice. It does a really great job with anything that you need to slice like very uniformly. So I find it super helpful with radishes. So typically when I make pozole, I garnish it with sliced radishes, I almost said cucumber, sliced cabbage, lime wedges, and then cilantro. You can also add a little bit of sour cream to it. I usually do add it to mine. So you can see how easy that makes it, and they're all thinly sliced, which is really awesome. So I just have a 4-compartment container here. I'm gonna put everything in. Obviously with the limes, I'm just gonna cut these into wedges. Sometimes I also really like using this slicer for cabbage because it slices it really thin. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then I've got one of my salad spears over here that I'm gonna rinse the cabbage after I slice it. All right, so here are all of the toppings for the pozole. I really like doing this stuff ahead of time because it just saves so much time. Whether you want to have this soup for dinner, it reheats beautifully, or like I said, you can also pack it for lunches and then just throw all of your toppings into a baggie and you've got lunch. Super simple. All right, so we are gonna prep some Instant Pot Salsa Verde chicken. So this is another freezer meal that I made. This is really good for, like, you can make burrito bowls out of it, you can make chicken tacos out of it, chicken quesadillas. It's basically got in here, and this has been thawed out obviously, it's got chicken thighs, tomatillo salsa, jalapenos, garlic. It actually smells really good. So we're just gonna add that to my Instant Pot. And you don't have to do this, but a lot of times I like to rinse out the bag with a little bit of water just to make sure that everything, I get all the seasonings out of there. And then I'm just gonna make sure this chicken is in an even layer. I'll put the lid on, make sure this one's set to sealing. And then this will cook on high pressure for 8 minutes. Okay, so this is the Salsa Verde chicken that I removed from the Instant Pot. I'm just gonna go ahead and shred it up and then we'll put it back in with the sauce. Okay, so I added my shredded chicken back into the Instant Pot. Okay, and then I am adding some chopped cilantro and chopped green onion. Okay, I'm gonna stir this together. All right, and then we're gonna add the juice of 1 lime. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and taste this and see if it needs salt or anything like that. All right, and then here is our Salsa Verde chicken. So that made about 4 cups. I would say this is definitely enough, or probably even, I guess it depends what you're having it with. Yeah, I mean, I would say for 4 people, a cup of chicken per person. If you're doing burrito bowls, that's probably more than enough. It's probably also more than enough to do like 3 tacos per person, or, you know, a couple quesadillas. So yeah, I'm gonna package this up. So we actually haven't made this meal prep yet, but this is just an example, obviously, of a quesadilla that you could make with this chicken. However, I also think this chicken would be really good in burrito bowls because I think that sauce would go really well with the rice. I also think it would be good for enchiladas if you wanted to do kind of like some green enchiladas, or it'd also be good for chicken tacos as well. So tons of different ways to use it. All right, so this is one of my favorite meal preps ever to do, and I'm doing it again because I love it so much. But this is the Chipotle, or copycat Chipotle beef barbacoa recipe that I've made so many times, and I made it into a freezer meal. So we're gonna go ahead and prep it for the week. So in this freezer bag, obviously it's thawed out, but I had in there some Chipotle peppers in adobo, and then that's pureed with some spices, some vinegar. It's just like super flavorful. There's also some bay leaves in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and cook this on high. It'll probably take, well, these pieces are small, so I don't know, it'll probably take anywhere from 4 to 6 hours on high. Okay, so my barbacoa beef is done. I decided to do this a little differently than I have before. So basically I took all of the meat out of here. I need to remove the bay leaf, and I put it into this metal pan, and I just shredded it in here. I want to save the juice, but I want to skim the fat off of it. So I think what I'm going to do is put this in a separate container. I'll put it in the fridge overnight and just be able to scrape the fat off the top. That way I can still have some of the sauce for the meat, but it won't be super greasy. Okay, so I also prepped some rice to go with this, and then I did skim the fat off of that sauce and add it back into the meat. Okay, so I'm gonna make some corn salsa to go with the beef barbacoa because that's what Chipotle has and I love it in their bowls. So I've got a can of this whole kernel white corn. I just drained that. I'm gonna put it in the bowl. And then this is a poblano pepper. So what I did was I just put this under the broiler until it got charred on the outside, and then I just put it in a bowl with some saran wrap, and then basically you can just peel the skin right off. And we'll chop it up, and that will go in the salsa as well. Okay, so we'll put the poblano in there. Okay, next I'm gonna chop up a little bit of red onion. Not all of this because it's not that much corn, really. Last time I made this salsa, I made way too much. So that's why I just decided to use a can of corn this time. Okay, and then we're gonna do the juice of 1 lime to start. I will taste it and see if it needs more lime juice. Okay, and we're also gonna add some cilantro, pepper, salt, okay, so this made about 2 cups of corn salsa, so that will be just enough to use throughout the week. I'll put it in a container. Okay, so I'm also going to make some pico to go with our burrito bowls. So I'm just gonna go ahead and chop everything up into small pieces, and I've got a bowl over here to mix everything in. I've got tomato, I've got some lime, some red onion, and then some cilantro as well. So here is that delicious barbacoa beef in a burrito bowl. All of these recipes are on the FreezerFit site. We will have links in the description box below about how to join if you are interested. But don't forget about freezer meals for meal prep. It is definitely a time saver for trying to get dinner on the table after work every night.